Hi guys, good afternoon to you. And this is another webinar. This time it's Focus Activity 10 to 13 here on YouTube. My name is Andre and I'm from a small island called Barbados in the Caribbean. I hope everyone is doing very well today and you're staying indoors and being safe as always. So today we're going to be looking at feelings, something very important to many people. It's important to everyone. Their feelings are important. And this focus activity will be talking about feelings, compound adjectives, describing how you felt at a time in the past. So we're talking about feelings using compound adjectives to describe them. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about our personal life. Not too personal though. Okay, so let's begin. So, talking about feelings. Now, how would you describe the way you show emotions? Do you consider yourself an open person or do you hide your emotions? What three adjectives would you use to describe your personality? So, let's talk about feelings. How would you describe the way you show emotions? Well, for me, I describe my emotions in different ways. It depends on the situation. So maybe I'm sad and I show my emotions by crying, or I don't cry very often, but if it's something very emotional or very sad, then it makes you cry. Or if it's a situation where I'm very happy, people can tell that I'm very happy because I describe my happiness in the form of a smile or in laughter. Or maybe I, jump up and down. So these are different ways that I show the emotion of happiness. In terms of anger, in a lot of situations, for me, when I'm angry, I don't really describe my anger to people. I don't show my anger to people like that. Many times, people don't know that I'm angry. So, and people change their emotions or how they portray their emotions in different ways depending on the situation you're in. So, we're all different as individuals. We show our emotions in different ways. We sometimes are very closed off or reserved with our emotions because maybe we're embarrassed or maybe we don't know how to show or describe our emotions to people. So it depends on the person. But for me, I show my emotions in different ways. So my emotions are normally more expressive, but more so for maybe disappointment or sadness or happiness more than anger. So anger is one kind of emotion that I don't always show right away, and it depends on the person as well. So that's describing my emotions. So in this case, as I said, people show emotions in different ways. How do you show emotions? Now, next question. Do you consider yourself an open person or do you hide your emotions? As I mentioned before, it depends on the situation. And it's sure for many people like you, it depends on the situation. Generally, I am an open person with my emotions. As I said, when I'm happy, when I'm sad, people know I am, or disappointed. If I'm angry, maybe a little different. I don't always show that level of anger. So for me, generally, I'm an open person. Now, what three adjectives would you use to describe your personality? Hmm. What three adjectives would you use to describe your personality? Now, if you're joining us today, if you're watching, don't hesitate to say hi. Uh, if you want to chat, give me a greeting, say hi, where you're from, and then we can always have a discussion as well. So let's look at that third question. What three adjectives would you use to describe your personality? So for me, the adjectives I would use to describe my personality are expressive, which is one adjective. What's another adjective I can use? Expressive. Um, hmm. Emotional, emotional, expressive, um, shy sometimes, uh, how should I say it? So expressive, emotional, shy a bit. And sometimes I would say, or most of the time, I'm a very hardworking person, hardworking. And speaking of compound adjectives, hardworking is a compound adjective. So remember, those compound adjectives are very specific because they have a hyphen between the two words. So hard hyphen or dash working. So yeah, so that's an example of three adjectives I would say describes my personality. Now, don't be shy if you're watching. Tell me a little bit about your personality. How would you describe the way you show emotions? Do you show emotions in an expressive way, or do you reserve your emotions? Do you keep them in? And do you consider yourself an open person, or do you hide your emotions? And give me three adjectives you would use to describe your personality. So those who are watching, don't be shy. Tell me a little bit about your personality, about your emotions. It wouldn't hurt to, share that with everyone. Nothing too personal, but just generally your personality. All right, so before or until we get some answers about that, let's move on to the next slide. So feelings. Let's brainstorm synonyms for the following adjectives. So these adjectives have more than one version or more than one word that means the same thing. So we've got happy, sad, angry, and scared. Now, these are very popular and well-known emotions that people have. People have happiness, sadness, anger. Sometimes they have fear or they're scared. Yeah. So fear is the noun. Yeah. But scared is the adjective. So the name of the actual emotion is fear, but the adjective is scared or frightened. Yeah. Or frightened. Frightened with the ed. Yeah. Frightened. So let's look at some other synonyms for these words, these adjectives. So happy, what could be some other adjectives or synonyms we can use for happy? When I think about it, happy, another word that means happy. Maybe joyful. Yeah, I feel joyful. Hmm? Maybe there is another word for happy, ecstatic. Ecstatic. Um, pleased. Pleased. Elated. So some of these words are usually used in the English language to be more expressive rather than just saying happy. So let's look at some more synonyms for happy. We've got delighted, we've got overjoyed, high-spirited, which is a compound adjective, elated, and ecstatic. Yeah, so these are the synonyms we use for happy. Delighted, overjoyed, high-spirited, elated, and ecstatic. The C, ecstatic, is kind of silentish. It's not quite silent, but you don't hear it as much. It's ecstatic, ecstatic. You don't really hear the k, k, k. It's ecstatic. Now, so those are some words. As I mentioned before, there's pleased, pleased as well. We've got pleased. Synonyms for happy. Pleased, other synonyms. Other synonyms. Pleased. What's another one we can find? There are quite a few more we can use. Joyful. Joyful. Yeah. What other words we can use? Joyful, pleased. Yeah, practically those are the ones that I remember, along with the ones on the screen as well. So these are just some extra adjectives we use for happiness as well in English. Pleased and joyful. Okay, now let's look at sad. Let's look at sad. So there could be quite a few we can use for sad. Maybe there's, could be a little more difficult for sad. Sad, maybe disappointed, perhaps. Disappointed is not really sad. Disappointed means generally that you wished for something, but it didn't happen. It's not necessarily sadness. Disappointment is another form, another feeling that we have. But sadness, we can have melancholy. Yeah, that's another one we use. Heavy-hearted, which is a compound adjective. I shouldn't be telling you these, but okay. Gloomy, grief-stricken, and sorrowful. Yeah, so these are some other synonyms that we use for sad: melancholy, heavy-hearted, gloomy, grief-stricken, and sorrowful. There could be others, but at the moment, it's not coming to my head. Alrighty, let's look at angry. What other synonyms can we use for angry? So angry, you can have frustration, maybe, sort of. Maybe furious. Furious is another word we can use for anger, for angry, adjective. So we've got furious. We've got what else? We've got let's check and see. So we've got bitter. That's a popular one we use as well. Someone's bitter, which means they're angry. Outraged, cross, furious, and ill-tempered. Yeah, so cross is a very British word. Cross is a very British word. You don't really hear it a lot in the US or internationally. That one is more specifically for the British. Well, the other ones are used internationally. So we got bitter, outraged, cross, furious, ill-tempered. So these are the synonyms we use for angry. Now let's look at scared. Scared. So mentioned before, frightened could be another one. Ed, frightened. Fearful. What else? It could be others as well. Let's see what they are. Panic-stricken. Interesting one. Terrified, petrified, anxious, and startled. Yeah, these are some good examples of scared, of other words that can replace scared. So we've got panic-stricken, you're panicking because of something that scares you, that you're fearful of. There's terrified. This is another popular one too. I'm terrified of that spider on the wall. Petrified. This one is not used as often. It's used for more, I think, more in poetic sense to represent scared, but it's not very commonly used all over the world. But it is another synonym. But we use terrified more often. You've got anxious. Yeah, anxious. Yeah, it could be a form of fear. Yeah, because you are fearful of something or you're scared of something. It makes you anxious. So in that case, it's a level of fear, it's a type of fear. Anxiety is a type of fear. Startled is also fear. Someone startled me. They frightened me. They scared me. Maybe they jumped out of a dark corner and startled me. So yeah, so these are other words that can mean the same as these emotions. We've got happy, delighted, overjoyed, high-spirited, elated, ecstatic. Sad, melancholy, heavy-hearted, gloomy, grief-stricken, sorrowful. Angry, bitter, outraged, cross, furious, ill-tempered. And scared, panic-stricken, terrified, petrified, anxious, startled. Now, let's look back at happy. There's high-spirited. Yeah, high-spirited means you're in good, or we would say good-spirited. You're in good spirits, meaning you feel good, you feel happy, you're positive. So something makes you feel high-spirited. Yeah. In terms of sad, we've got grief-stricken. Grief-stricken is mainly more for like death, when someone dies, someone important to you. So you're grief-stricken, meaning you're so sad because of a death. So that's more associated with death and dying. Grief-stricken. Melancholy is more a poetic sense. Use it more in poems. We don't really use it in a general conversation. It's more for literary works. Melancholy. Heavy-hearted. When you think of your heart, it's like your heart is heavy. You can't take the heaviness of your heart. It's like, yeah, I think that's a pretty clear explanation. If you've broken up with someone, they broke your heart, or you can say you're broken-hearted as well. Broken-hearted is also means sad. Someone broke your heart, your partner, or your girlfriend or boyfriend. They left you, so you feel broken-hearted or heavy-hearted. Even for someone who's close to you that may have died as well, we can use heavy-hearted as well. In terms of anger, bitter. When you think of bitter, something that's bitter, the taste of something that's bitter is not the best taste. It's not a very good taste in your mouth. So generally, bitter is something negative, so we associate it with anger. Someone's bitter. So I am bitter against that guy. I mean, I'm angry with that guy. So normally we say, yeah, I'm feeling bitter towards or bitter against that guy. Yeah. Outraged is a more expressive with form of angry. It's a little more exaggerated or a little more, how should I say, emotional. So outrage is a very strong anger. Cross, as I said, is British. Furious, same thing. It's like very strong anger. Ill-tempered, someone who isn't very positive is, I mean, I feel ill-tempered, or that person is ill-tempered, meaning they are a very negative and very angry person. So that person is ill-tempered. They're very negative in this case. And as I mentioned before, anxious is a form of fear. It can be brought on, anxiety can be brought on by fear of something. Panic as well, panic-stricken or panicked. You can use the ed, panicked. I feel panicked, or panic-stricken. You can use both of them as well. And startled, obviously someone jumps you, like a ghost or something startles you, makes you feel woo in that moment. So good. These are different synonyms for these emotions. Now let's continue. Which ones are compound adjectives? Well, I've told you some of them already, but let's look and see which ones are compound adjectives. So for happy, there's one in there, high-spirited. Yeah, high-spirited is a compound adjective. Now let's move on to sad. Are there any compound adjectives in there? Yeah, there are two compound adjectives. There's heavy-hearted and there's grief-stricken. Yeah. Anger. Yeah, there's one. Ill-tempered. And scared, we've got panic-stricken. So these five compound adjectives are commonly used in English as well. They're normally two separate words separated by a dash or a hyphen, as we would say. So those are the compound adjectives. So grammar for compound adjectives, how do they work? How are these two sentences different? So let's look at the difference between these two sentences. So the first one is, I saw a man eating shark. While on the other side, I saw a man eating shark. So you see the difference. There's a difference. And it's only a difference because of that dash or that hyphen. It changes the meaning of the sentence. So the first one is a compound adjective with the hyphen. So a man eating shark, it describes the shark. Yeah. While on the other side, on the right, I saw a man eating shark. It's not a compound adjectives. So man is the noun or the subject. No, the noun. Yeah. And eating is the verb, to eat, with the ing form. So it's I saw a man eating shark. It's a gerund, I think. But it's the ing form. So it's a different grammar in that sentence. It's not a compound adjective. It's a noun and it's a verb. So first one, I saw a man eating shark. So man eating is the adjective, while shark is the noun. So that describes the noun. But in the second sentence, man is the noun and eating is the verb. So that's the difference. So the first one, the shark, in this case, eats people, eats men, well, people in general. Man eating means eating people, basically. So the shark eats people, but in the second part, the man is eating the shark. So that's the difference there. Yeah. Let's look at the next one. So first one, as I said, this means that you saw a shark which eats humans. Exactly. Second part, this means that you saw a man who was eating shark as food. So that's a better description, a better explanation of those two different sentences between the compound adjectives and the noun versus the verb. Let's look more at using compound adjectives. Now, a hyphen, which is, or a dash, but we call it in this case a hyphen, can change the meaning of the whole sentence, as you can see in those examples. We generally put a hyphen between two or more words before nouns when we want them to act as a single idea, which is an adjective. So always remember, compound or not, adjectives come before the noun. In this case, there are two or more words that describe a particular noun. So we put the hyphen to combine them into one. So that is a compound adjective to give a better idea of how you're describing that particular noun or subject. Let's continue. So for example, I live in an English-speaking country. So you're being more specific here. So you don't say I live in a speaking country. Like, what does that mean? Everybody speaks. So how could we describe a country more? So it's a country that speaks English. So we use I live in an English-speaking country. Simple. Compound adjective there. So you have the type of language and what they speak. So you have English-speaking country. Excellent. He is a well-known actor. So here we're trying to be more specific. He's a known actor, yeah, but a lot of people know him. So you will use well. He's a well-known actor. It's to emphasize that he's very known. So he is a well-known actor means that he's very, very popular. If you say he's a known actor, people know him, basically, generally, but he's not maybe very popular or he's not very known by people all over the world. So to express that he's known by many people, very popular, we use well-known as a compound adjective to describe the actor. So now let's look at changing these sentences, the adjective in the sentences. So we're going to convert these sentences using a compound adjective. So let's look at number one. I have just read a book with 300 pages. Number two, my office is in a building that has 20 stories. Number three, I ate some strawberries that were so good they made my mouth water. Number four, he is famous around the world. And number five, you can't smoke in this restaurant. So these are the sentences we have to convert using the compound adjectives. I know the answers for some of these. So guys, if you're interested, let's do it together. So number one, I have just read a book with 300 pages. So here we have 300 pages and we have book. So we use these two to create a compound adjective. So we've got book and 300 pages. I would say I have just read a 300-page book. What do you think? A 300-page book. I have just read a 300-page book. So instead of saying I have just read a book with 300 pages, we can use it as an adjective. What kind of book is it? So remember, book here is the main noun that we're looking at to describe. And here we go. I have just read a 300-page book. So that describes the book. What type of book? A book with 300 pages. We convert it to the compound adjective, which is 300-page book. I hope you're getting the idea here. So let's look at number 2. My office is in a building that has 20 stories. So, what is the noun here that we're going to be describing? My office is in a building that has 20 stories. For me, I think the noun that we're describing here would be building. So what type of building is my office in? My office is in a 20-story building. So here, 20-story describes the building. So the building has 20 stories, which means it's a 20-story building. So my office is in a 20-story building. Yeah. So you're describing that particular noun. So always look at the sentence to see what is the noun and how is it being described. Let's move on to number 3. I ate some strawberries that were so good, they made my mouth water. I ate some strawberries that were so good, they made my mouth water. So in this sentence, what is the noun we're going to be describing? I would say, strawberries. Yeah, strawberries is the noun that we're going to be describing. And what kind of strawberries? Strawberries that were so good, they made my mouth water. Yeah. So for me, I would say I ate some strawberries that were so good, they were mouth watering. Let's see. I ate some mouth-watering strawberries. Okay, yeah. So this one is a little better. I ate some mouth-watering strawberries. Simple. Makes it easier. Makes the sentence shorter. So I ate some mouth-watering strawberries. So what kind of strawberries? Mouth-watering. Number 4. He is famous around the world. Excellent, Monica. Welcome. Welcome to the party. So he is famous around the world. So what would we just be describing here? What is the noun we are describing? He is famous around the world. So we're describing he. We're describing him, the person, the man. Yeah. So what kind of person is he? He's a famous person, but we want to create a compound adjective from this one. So we would say he is world famous. Yeah, exactly. You put the two words together. World famous. How famous? World famous. It's more, how should I say, more exaggerated, more expressed in this sense. Emphasizes the type of fame that he has. So he is world famous is the compound adjective. And the last one, you can't smoke in this restaurant. That's okay, Monica. I think we all are having internet issues today, so that's okay. You can't smoke in this restaurant. So what would be the compound adjective we would use here? So the noun being described would be restaurant. Restaurant is the noun. So how would we describe restaurant with a compound adjective? So let's look at it. You can't smoke in this restaurant. Now, some of you might have heard this particular compound adjective in many different places. Maybe you would have traveled, maybe even here in Italy. But in English, we tend to use this specific compound adjective for public spaces. So if you guessed correctly, Monica is quick on the ball. This is a smoking-free restaurant or a smoke-free restaurant. So use the infinitive, use the noun, not the verb. So in this case, smoke as the noun. So a smoke-free restaurant, not a smoking-free restaurant. It's okay. It's all right, but it's better to use it as a noun. A smoke-free restaurant, not as a verb. Smoking-free restaurant. So it would be a smoke-free restaurant, or you can also say a non-smoking restaurant. So you can either use smoke-free which is also a compound adjective, or non-smoking. Very good, Monica. Excellent. So I know a lot of, well, maybe not so much in Italy, because a lot of people love to smoke, can smoke outside. But generally, in my country, we normally don't allow smoking in our restaurants, like inside the restaurant. So normally it's a non-smoking restaurant. Most restaurants in my country, in Barbados, small island of the Caribbean. So excellent work, Monica, though. Yeah, it could be smoke-free or non-smoking restaurant. But normally, the first word in the compound adjective is usually the noun. Most of the time. It isn't always the noun, but most cases it is the noun. So smoke-free restaurant, you have non-smoking restaurant, you have world-famous restaurant. So you have a noun and you have an adjective. So you got mouth-watering, so you got the noun, mouth, watering, which is, in this case, an adjective with an ing form. Then you have a 20-story building, so you have 20, which is a noun. Story is also a noun too. So it depends. There's a mixture. There are nouns and nouns, nouns and adjectives. But normally, when you first start the compound adjective, it's usually a noun. Good. Excellent. Very good job. So now, how did you feel? We're continuing to talk about our feelings. So let's talk about a topic. We're not going to write because it's impossible at this moment, but we're going to discuss about compound adjectives we can use in these different situations, these different topics. So how you felt when you graduated high school or university, your child or sibling, niece, nephew was born, how you felt when someone close to you hurt your feelings, how you felt when you were in a life-threatening situation, how you felt when someone made you extremely angry. So let's talk about our stories. So I'll start, give you time to think about it. So you graduated, how did you feel or how you felt when you graduated from high school or university? Your child or sibling, niece, nephew was born, someone close to you hurt your feelings, you were in a life-threatening situation, or someone made you extremely angry. These are very difficult situations sometimes to be in, the negative situations for some. Graduated high school, let me start. So, how did I feel? Let me use the compound adjective to describe how I felt when I passed my graduation or I graduated from high school, because I did not graduate from university. I dropped out of university. So for high school, I felt, how did I feel? I felt, let me think. How did I feel when I graduated high school? Monica, you can help me out. How did you feel when you graduated high school or university using a compound adjective? For me, I would say I felt, or graduating from high school felt heartwarming. Heartwarming, meaning I felt so good about it. Heartwarming means you feel very good. So I felt heartwarming when I graduated from high school. You were on. I like that one, Monica. I don't think it's a real compound adjective, but good job. When I graduated, I felt mind clouded. That's not actually a compound adjective. You felt on cloud nine. It's an expression. So in this case, it cannot be used as a compound adjective. It can only be used as an expression. I felt as though I was on cloud nine, or I felt on cloud nine. Exactly, on cloud nine, without the article. So that's not quite a compound adjective. That's an expression we use in English, or an idiom that we use. So for me, I felt heartwarming. I felt good. Here's another one maybe you can use. I felt, let's see. I felt high-spirited. Remember high-spirited? When I graduated from high school, I felt high-spirited. Or I could say I felt strong-willed. I felt strong-willed because I felt like I can do this. I can leave school and I can find a good job or be at university or sign up for university. So I felt strong-willed, I felt high-spirited. These are all compound adjectives we can use to describe happiness as well, and determination. So you've got high-spirited, and we've got strong-willed that I used, of course. Any others you can use, Monica? Any other compound adjectives we can use? So we've got, I felt heartwarming, I felt high-spirited, and I felt strong-willed. Yeah, we've got strong-willed, which means you feel determined. So to feel determined. Yeah, if you have an objective, so you feel like powerful to achieve this objective or this aim. So that's basically strong-willed. You have strength to move on, to get the job done. Good. Now let's look at the second one. So your child or sibling or niece or nephew was born. How did you feel when your child was born? How did you feel when your nieces and nephews were born, or your brothers or sisters were born? How did you feel? Use a compound adjective. For me, I would say I felt overjoyed. Exactly, Monica. Very good. We were thinking the same thing. So yeah, I felt overjoyed. Yeah, it could be another one as well. Sometimes you use it as one word. Some people use it as a compound adjective. So it depends. It can either use as one word or it can be used as a compound adjective, but it's supposed to be used as a compound adjective, overjoyed. I would also say I felt, how should I say? I can say high-spirited as well. I felt high-spirited, anything to do with happiness. High-spirited, I felt heartwarming, those kind of adjectives that can describe happiness can also be used to describe very positive and happy moments. Now, someone close to you hurt your feelings. So this is a negative situation. What kind of compound adjective can we use for this one? Someone close to you hurt your feelings. Well, for me, I would say I felt heartbroken. I felt heartbroken. I felt like this person hurt me so bad they broke my heart. I felt heartbroken. Yeah, so it's a very strong feeling of disappointment and hurt, sadness. So it's a negative situation in this sense. What else can you use? Tell me, guys, what else can you use? What are the compound adjectives you can use for sadness, for hurt, for disappointment? Any others? So we've got heartbroken, we've got heavy-hearted as well. So heavy-hearted could also mean sadness as well, as I mentioned before. Heavy-hearted is sadness, it's hurt. Maybe you're grieving the death, maybe someone hurt you badly in terms of your feelings. So we can use heavy-hearted, we can use broken-hearted. Those are some negative feelings. Grief-stricken, exactly, Monica. But normally grief-stricken is not associated with death more than anything else, when someone dies. But you're not absolutely wrong. It can also be used because someone can feel like they've lost someone. They feel like they've died in their head or their minds. So we can use grief-stricken in that sense. It's a more, how should I say, symbolic way of saying that you are hurt by someone. You lost someone, but not to death, specifically. Okay, so let's look at the next one. You were in a life-threatening situation. So here, life-threatening is also a compound adjective. But what's another compound adjective we can use to describe our feelings when you were in a life-threatening situation? So I would say for me, in a life-threatening situation, I felt what's another word, another compound adjective we can use? So in a very scary situation, I felt, there was one I can remember. This particular one, it's always so difficult for me to remember it. But for a life-threatening situation, I would say it felt never ending, like this situation will not finish. I won't get out of this life-threatening situation. It feels never ending, like it's going on forever. I feel like, it's threatening my life, but it's going on forever. So like life-threatening could be very never ending per se. Depends on how long the action is. Another one could be, what's another compound adjective you can use? I felt maybe heavy-hearted in a sense, because maybe it's a life-threatening situation and I feel sad because maybe I think I'm going to die. So yeah, let's go back to some of the other ones we learned before. So we've got, yeah, panic-stricken, forgot that one. That's the one I was trying to remember. So panic-stricken is the next one for being scared, for being fearful. So in a life-threatening situation, I would say I am panic-stricken. Yeah, you're panicking, panic-stricken. Yep. So let's move on to the last one. Someone made you extremely angry. In this case, I would use ill-tempered. I'm feeling ill-tempered. I'm very angry, ill-tempered. Or I could say someone made you feel extremely angry. I could say, what's another one we can use? Sometimes they're a little difficult to remember, the compound adjectives. But you can also use, let's see, you can also use, what's another one we can use for anger? Well, for anger, you can say short-tempered, maybe. So I'm very short-tempered or bad-tempered. Short-tempered can mean you get angry very quickly, or bad-tempered. In general, you're a very angry person. So I feel, you don't say feel bad-tempered or feel short-tempered. Those two compound adjectives describes a person, the personality more so. But for feeling, how you feel, I would normally say someone who's extremely angry is for me, feeling would be I am maybe what's another one we can use? Let's look at it. Let's search for it. So a compound adjective for angry. Compound adjectives for angry. Like I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling short-tempered, but it's not commonly used in that case. Let's see what else. Compound adjectives for anger. This one's a little difficult, not coming to my mind. But generally, compound adjectives for anger is usually bad-tempered, short-tempered, ill-tempered. So I would say I feel ill-tempered in this case. Ill-tempered. Excellent. So we learned some compound adjectives for certain feelings in your life, for certain emotions in your life. So for me, first one would be, I felt, you graduated from high school, I felt heartwarming, I felt overjoyed, I felt, what's the other one we were using before? I felt, let's move on. Your child, sibling, niece, nephew was born. I felt, as Monica said, that one is more of an adjective. of a expression. Over the moon is an expression, or cloud nine in this sense. You were very happy. So the other one would be, other compound adjective for happiness would be, let's go back because my memory is not very very good today. High spirited, exactly. High spirited as well. Oops. You talked about sadness. You lose someone, hurt your feelings. I feel heartbroken. I felt heavy-hearted. You're in a life-threatening situation. You can feel heavy-hearted too, or panic-stricken. And for someone who made you feel angry, ill-tempered in this sense. Right, Monica? Exactly, ill-tempered. Good job, guys. So we looked at some of the compound adjectives today. You can always research more compound adjectives. There are many, many out there as well to describe feelings and, of course, to describe personality as well. So make sure you practice those compound adjectives and using them in different situations. So some are negative and some are positive. Okay, guys, see you later. Bye, Monica. Have a great day and see you soon. And make sure you stay tuned to YouTube for more webinars from My English School as we continue to help you to improve your English while you're at home. See you later.